International Airport is located 2 kilometers south of Batumi, a city on the Black Sea coast, and capital of Anjara, an autonomous republic in southwest Georgia. The city of Batumi has seen significant growth in the last few years. The Georgian Air Force uses it as a staging base for NATO forces, so your basic flight training will be conducted here. Study the Airspace Coordination Order and maps of the area so you can become familiar with the terrain and major landmarks. We will be using the CIV Target Training Range, or STTR, and working within a defined military operations area, or MOA. The STTR is named after Captain Steve Phillis, call sign CIV, who was killed during the 1991 Gulf War. The MOA is defined by Poti and the Rioni River in the north, Batumi in the south, Curbamaro in the east, and 10 nautical miles offshore in the west. The CIV Target Training Range is defined by the Rioni River in the north, Lanshuti in the south, Satsavo in the east, and Poti in the west. The Rioni River is a distinguishing landmark and will be a useful visual reference. There are 2 alternate airfields within the military operations area. Calculating Military Air Base is used for weapons training missions along the CIV Target Training Range. There is also an abandoned airfield 2 kilometers north of Calculating. The runways form an X shape, so it's easy to identify. Let's review the missions that define this qualification phase. The first mission tests your ability to start, taxi, and shut down the bird. Make sure you study up on your checklist and ground handling procedures. You are not getting the bird in the air until you can be trusted to use it properly on the ground. The second mission tests your ability to take off and successfully land the aircraft with a simulated engine emergency. We want to see that you can take off and land successfully with only one engine. Study up on your takeoff and emergency landing techniques for this one. The third mission tests your ability to fly a proper traffic pattern. At busy airports, you may find yourself stuck in the pattern for some time. Study the pattern diagram closely so that you can be successful with this PO. The fourth mission tests your ability to perform a formal approach and landing. Unlike your earlier landing attempts, this one will be rated on your glide slope, airspeed, and landing techniques. I recommend you study up on the proper landing procedures. The fifth mission tests your ability to fly basic maneuvers. You will do airspeed and elevation tests, high speed and low speed turn tests, including a climbing turn test. You will also test the autopilot. You study the flight manual so you will understand how to work the aircraft to meet the basic maneuver objectives. The sixth mission tests your ability to fly an mission tests your ability to fly a number of aerobatic maneuvers. You'll do an implement, split S, loop, barrel roll, cloverleaf, and then put them into an aerobatic sequence of your choosing. Study the maneuvers closely, as every good combat pilot should know them by heart. The 8th mission tests your ability to handle emergencies. We will review a common set of emergencies that you should be able to handle. Study your emergency checks and procedures, and you should have no problem bringing the bird back safely. The 9th mission tests your approach and landing at night using instruments. Landing at night can be very challenging, especially if the weather is not cooperative. Study your instruments closely and pay attention to your altitude, airspeed, and attitude. The 10th mission tests your ability to navigate at night. Without external visual references, you will have to rely on your instruments and map reading skills for this PO. Keep your D-board handy and record any coordinates given immediately. You won't be able to ask for help on this mission. The 11th mission tests your ability to fly as a wingman. It takes time and effort to become a good wingman. Formation flying is one part of it. Stay close to your leader and follow his every move. If you get too close or too far away, that will score against you. The 12th mission is the final mission of your basic flight training. You will perform a low-level flight through the SIF target training range, arriving at Kabuleti for debriefing and final score.